Well, joining me from the Labor campaign is campaign spokesperson and Shadow Finance Minister Katy Gallagher. Thanks so much for your time. Katy, can you answer this crucial question? Who is the opposition leader? Who is Anthony Albanese? And why does he want to be Prime Minister?
Morning, Laura. Thanks for having me on. Well, Anthony's a great guy. I've worked with him for a number of years. He's genuine, he's authentic, he shows up, he takes responsibility, and he's been the architect of our plans that we're going to roll out through the campaign about a better future for Australia. So, you know, I think people will get to know him more and more as the campaign rolls through, but, you know, the reality is there's a big difference between who Anthony is wanting to be Prime Minister and the current Prime Minister.
I thought this was more about policy, though. That's what Anthony Albanese keeps on saying. So why are you concentrating on the Prime Minister's character?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying there's a big difference between the leadership styles, and absolutely this contest should be about policy. That's why we've been putting out our policies and our plans for a better future around childcare, aged care, TAFE, our Powering Australia policy, all about, you know, an optimistic vision for the country that we could be. So absolutely this contest should be about policy, but it will also invariably be about the leadership of the two main contenders.
He looked a bit nervous yesterday. Are you nervous?
Well, I mean, I saw his press conference. I don't think he looked nervous, but it is a real, I guess once the starting gun is fired, you're into the campaign, so there's a level of adrenaline there. I think in any campaign you can't take anything for granted. We know how hard we're going to have to work. We know how much we're going to have to get our message across. It's going to be a really close contest. So, you know, I think there is that level of kind of excitement and adrenaline and uncertainty that campaigns bring, but Anthony's done the work, he's done the hard yards over this term in Parliament, and we've got the policies to roll out as well. So I think as much as we can control things, we're in really good shape, and hopefully, you know, the Australian people will see what we're trying to do and our message we're offering and support that going forward.
For busy people, you know, I'd love to think that they were watching Sky News all day, every day, but they're not. So if you could distill it down, what is that key message? Why should Labor be in government?
Well, I think, again, our plan is about a better future. So it's an optimistic message about the things we need to do. So addressing things like aged care, addressing cost of living, about getting wages moving, about really those issues that the Australian people have been talking to us about. You know, it's about that alternative or more of the same, a government that's been in power for 9 years and is seeking a second decade. So, you know, I think, again, if we can keep it optimistic, we'll be in with a strong chance, because our policies and plans are really about building up an Australia that I think, you know, to show its full potential in all of those range of areas: jobs, skills, climate, aged care, Medicare, childcare, the things that really matter to people on a day-to-day basis.
Do you get the feeling that there's baseball bats out for this government? Do you get the it's time factor? What is it?
Look, I think there is a level of, you know, dissatisfaction with the government and with the Prime Minister in particular. But it's a 9-year-old government, you know, that, and you know, they're after a second decade in office, and you know, people I think are saying, is this as good as it gets? So I don't think, you know, baseball bats or anything like that. I think it's going to be a close contest. I think it's going to come down to a seat-by-seat race, and I think it's going to come down to the alternative visions. Again, you know, our one, which is focusing on optimism and you know, investments in those key areas, or more of the same from a tired old government.
Well, yesterday, Anthony Albanese said unemployment was lower under the last government. I mean, it's going to be a long campaign. People are going to misspeak. Was that the first one?
Sorry, Laura, I just missed that.
Anthony Albanese said yesterday that unemployment was lower under the last Labor government. That's not right. If you look at the figures, there's going to be misspeaks on this campaign. It's going to be a long one. Was that the first one we saw from Anthony Albanese?
Look, I think if you look on average, it was lower under the Labor government.
But that's not what he said.
You know,
it was 4.4% at best under the last Labor government. It's now at 4%.
Well, look, I didn't hear what he said yesterday, but in terms of your broader point about, will there be mistakes made? I expect there will be on both sides. This is a time when people can, all candidates come under more scrutiny and more pressure, doing more interviews. So there are bound to be times when things are said that might need to be corrected. But that isn't, particular to any particular candidate. It's across the board. I imagine we will see that. And, I think the point is people want authenticity, they want, genuine engagement, they want to see the people that are standing for election, and they want honesty in politics. And I think that's an important part. Honesty, integrity and trust is going to be an important part of this campaign as well.
Yep, I'm sitting in a glass house here as well, so I'm not about to throw stones. Katy Gallagher, thanks so much for your time. Good luck.
Thanks very much, Laura.